There is a lot of controversy around the coming of 5G internet. 5G meaning the fifth generation, with much higher speeds than previous generations. However, this can be much more useful than just much faster internet connections. This can allow self-driving cars to find more optimal routes through crowded traffic while avoiding potential accidents. These reasons sound great so far, so why are people against the implementation of 5G? I will discuss why people are against 5G coming to their cities and towns, and how it will affect their lives. The way 5G internet works is that it is on a very high frequency wavelength. This means that it has very poor range. Simply moving out of line of sight of where the 5G transmitter is located greatly decreases the speed. Even water from rain and weather causes a great disturbance to the quality and speed of the internet. Due to the bad range associated with high frequency wavelengths, it is necessary to have 5G transmitters every 250 meters or so around a 5G city if you were to drive or walk around, so you constantly maintain a good connection. People are afraid that having high frequency transmitters so close will interfere people's ability to focus, cause headaches and migraines, and even cancer to people who live nearby these transmitters. First, let's start by defining radiation. It's not the scary nuclear stuff often made out by the media. Instead, radiation is just the emission of electromagnetic waves. In reality, radiation given off by these transmitters is non-ionizing, meaning it doesn't have the necessary energy required to cause cancers or damage to DNA, and the most that could be done is minor heating to people nearby. This is similar to the way a microwave works, but on a much lower scale, as the waves do not have the potential energy needed to properly heat up particles, let alone damage DNA or cause cancer. We know this because although the evolution of internet from 4G to 5G is new, the technology is not. Very similar high-frequency wavelengths include radar. Radar was used in World War II for a very long time, for long-distance communication around the world with no adverse side effects, and to this day it is still being used now. 5G is now used in 21 cities in the USA, with Verizon, Sprint, and AT&T, US mobile carriers and internet companies, all competing to try and get in the most cities the fastest. This number is expected to become around 30 cities by the end of 2019. This is great for capital gain for these companies, as most people living in these cities are willing to pay the extra for 5G internet because of the insanely fast speeds. I found an article from the Environmental Health Trust against 5G, wanting to stop it from ever coming to New Zealand. One of their main arguments is that the radiation will be unavoidable and it will increase the amount of exposure found in our day-to-day lives immensely. The article claims that this radiation could be carcinogenic and cause damage to sperm, even though they specify that 5G uses a non-ionizing radio frequency. If a wave is non-ionizing, that means it simply doesn't have enough energy to cause damage to DNA or cause cancer. A study against the coming of 5G, with links to the American Cancer Society as one of their sources, said this website said that cell towers use radio frequency waves with long wavelengths. This can be concentrated to around an inch or two, so there is very low chance of causing cancer in individual cells. In one large study, British researchers compared a group of more than 1,000 families of young children with cancer against a similar group of families without cancer. They found no link between a mother's exposure to towers during pregnancy, based on the distance from the home to the nearest tower and the amount of energy given off by the nearby tower, to the risk of early childhood cancer. So as to the future, will the countries be banning 5G? On the 9th of June 2019, a website called Putin Tomorrow posted a story claiming that the Japanese government will be banning 5G cellular technology for the health of its citizens. Putin Tomorrow article claims that the Ministry of High Technologies posted an announcement on their official website that they would be banning the development of and investment in the cellular technology, while citing someone named Nonubari Kabato as the ministry's head. This article has since been proved faulty, with fake names used in the article that do not exist, and Japan does not have a Ministry of High Technology. A recent article from late September of 2019 on the coming of 5G to Japan stated that it is in Japan's best interest to develop 5G technologies. The internet is classified as a basic infrastructure in Japan, the same as roads or railroads. Tokyo plans to develop 5G technologies to speed up the move to digitize the capital. Doing this will help with the education of using technology, a platform for individuals or enterprises to try and develop new business using information communication technologies, as well as the coming of telemedicine and providing an infrastructure for self-driving cars. This information was from Manabu Miyasaka, the vice governor of Tokyo, in an interview with the Japan Times. An article from the New York Times talks about using 5G or any other high-frequency wavelengths will most likely reduce the amount of harmful radiation we are exposed to. According to experts on biological effects of electromagnetic radiation, radio waves become safer at high frequencies, not more dangerous. Extremely high-frequency energies such as X-rays behave differently and do pose a health risk. In that article, the New York Times critiques a study done by Dr. Curry. Dr. Curry said that high-frequency wavelengths can be very dangerous to young children. It doesn't penetrate, said Christopher M. Collins, a professor of radiology at New York University, who studied the effects of high-frequency electromagnetic waves on humans. Dr. Curry's graphs, he added, failed to take into account the shielding effect that human skin has. Human skin works as a good protector against radio waves, as they have a very hard time penetrating through human skin. To conclude, I came into this 5G debate pretty open-minded, very keen for the benefits but concerned for potential health hazards. Now, having read many articles and watched several YouTube videos on the topic, I am optimistic about the coming of 5G, and I don't think it will be detrimental to the health of living beings. The only problem is its short range and the necessity for many 5G transmitters to be around a city to maintain optimal connection while traveling around the city. Thanks for listening to my podcast.